सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम नमस्ते मनीषा जी नमस्ते रेनी जी. Yes, can we recollect something that we saw last? And from the link so we can move ahead. Anything?
So yesterday we started off with how to attain siddhi, that is perfection.
See.
Yes. If we do any of our work with perfection, that is spirituality.
Yes.
So how can we attain that perfection? If we do any of our work with full love and devotion and submit the work and the fruits of the work to the Lord.
See.
If we are not detached, if we are not attached with any of the results, neither with the work nor with the fruits of the work. So there should be total detachment. And with love and devotion, if we submit our doings, that work will become perfect. That is our offering to the Lord.
Yes. And you had very nicely said something about moha also, isn't it? When does one something become moha?
Yes. So you had asked, what is the difference between if we are in love? So we are not bound in love. We are not bound in love only when we are detached. That means moh is there. If moh is there, that means we are attached with that object or that person, and we start expecting from that person also, and we start expecting unto us also.
Ah.
That is moha.
So moha, this is, expectations are an indicator of moha, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Fine. Fine.
Then so if we just carry out our swadharma, that is what is our duty unto us, that will automatically lead us to perfection. We should
See.
recognize our duty, and if we are meditating properly, then our heart and mind will get synchronized, and whatever senses are then going to come into play, that will be divinized. That means whatever we are going to speak or see or hear or feel, that the onus will not be on ourselves.
Ji. And we have to first identify our swadharma. And
Yes.
as we identify our swadharma, we have to use it as a vehicle to transcend it. Maybe by Swadharma, I may be a Brahmacharya, Brahmin. By Swadharma, I may be a Kshatriya. By Swadharma, I may be a Vaishya or a Shudra. But I will have to transcend and become all four, isn't it? All four facets are required in an integral and all-round personality. So that is, I think, how first we have to recognize, we have to identify the divinity, then we have to start feeling the divinity, calling on for that divine to work inside of us. And I think then the stages take place. The transformation takes place on its own. Maybe
Yes.
we'll have prayers with expectation, like you said, moha. Moha is when expectations are there. But initially, our prayers start with moha only, isn't it? With moha. And slowly, if
Correct.
our. Yes. Jadaniji was saying something?
Yeah, I mean, and I was just saying that it was also a point yesterday that Shri Krishna said, if you don't do it, if you don't do your swadharma or what is expected from you, you will be eventually forced to do it.
Ah,
So I
yes.
mean, it's better to realize yourself and do it rather than
Yes.
getting some hard experience and then doing it.
Yes, yes. It's like a doctor has told you, ये मत करो या ये diet avoid करो. This is not right. You say, हाँ, doctor को क्या पता है? मुझे पता है. Then you'll be forced to choose the diet which was suggested because it was earlier suggested. Next, it will be imposed upon you. This is the way of Maya. This is the way of Prakriti. Prakriti is also not blind, isn't it? Even Maya is functioning according to a divine will because it's created with the divine sanction only. So Maya is not an accident, isn't it? So in Maya also there is a work, there is a way, there is a will. So we'll have to slowly come out because it's something which is going to happen naturally. And as we were looking and talking at how initially our prayers are with expectations, isn't it? Conditional prayers. But as we go ahead in sadhana, slowly what we call sakam prarthana gets transformed into nishkam prarthana. Our karma yoga also, it is initially how do we do it? According to our personal desires, personal choices. But after a while, these personal choices cease. These choices cease to exist. And then only one choice is there. That is the divine choice. Then even what we can say, karta bhav also vanishes. Karta bhav vanishes does not mean that we are not doing any work. It is naham karta, harihi karta. I'm not the doer. So Krishna says, see, Arjuna, this is out of ahankar. Out of ahankar, out of vanity, you are saying, ki, no, 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 I'll not take part this battle. This is not according to my taste or choice. He says, you will, if you do not do it, you will be forced to do it for your nature's sake. Prakriti will impose that stamp upon you, and at that time, you will not have a choice. So I think we all like to do things. Yes, Manisha, you want to ask something?
So the 60th shloka says that you will be forced. The 63rd shloka says that you are free at any time. So these two things seem to be a little
Contradicting. Okay, Manisha, these are contradicting. You'll be forced by Prakriti, and in the sense, situation will come to you. A student will be forced to study for the exam on the last minute if he doesn't prepare the entire time. Say you have to learn a subject and the exam is somewhere down the line. I think this we would have with a lot of friends. Arey, boring subject, no need to worry. We'll manage later. We have 3 months. Then the 3 months become, we have 3 days. I have seen somebody saying we have 3 hours also. And but in the last minute, what is happening? You're being forced, isn't it? But its freedom is there or not for the student? I have 3 months time to prepare. I have 3 hours to prepare. Sometimes 3 minutes also is not enough. Actually, this is where we have the choice. We have the choice. But the more we delay out of tamas or our rajas or out of some kind of ignorance and or due to slackness, the situation becomes terser. Means we have the world is not having any limitation of time. We have that limitation of time, isn't it? In this janma. Just yesterday, I had a very interesting discussion with someone. Arey, I'm running, मेरा time खराब हो गया. That person told me, my time got wasted. So where did it go if it got wasted? And if yours only got wasted, somebody else's did not get wasted? Or because somebody has not wasted this much time, will that person live longer than the other person? No, time is proceeding, isn't it? At the same rate, it for everyone. Only our life, our janma, we have what we can say a finite limitation assigned upon us. So we'll have to function according to that. So Manisha ji, yes, we have the freedom, no? We have the freedom, but it is not imposed upon us. That choice is not. Our choice is never removed. And I know people who are excellent at time management also, meaning they'll not study for full all this much time also. Sometimes they study lesser time, but they utilize it well. It is a choice of an individual. At all times, you have the choice. But what is right, what is inevitable, that will manifest. Satyameva jayate, as it is said, isn't it? This way or that way. The divine will manifest. Krishna tells Arjuna, isn't it? Even if you are not there, if Arjuna did run away, maybe somebody else would come into place. The divine is not dependent upon us. The instrument is dependent on the divine, not the other way. So it is not an illusion, the freedom of choice. Krishna also says, I have told you so much. Now I'm not ordering you anything. Never did he even order before, isn't it? He just said, this is what Arjuna was the one asking questions and Krishna was responding. So the choice and everything is only on Arjuna's hand, not because you have now subscribed, you must do like this because you have got. That becomes conditional and breaks the very point of essence of Krishna's teaching. Mam phaleshu kadachanam, if we are saying that, Can Ishvara have some expectation? Ki, oh, you must do it because you have now studied Gita. You must follow next sermon. Don't follow principles if you don't want to, if it doesn't resonate with you. Yes, Renuji, you were saying something?
Yes, but I just wanted to add that ultimate is from human to humane to divine.
Yeah. Aha. Yes, yes. Wonderful. Is this your own statement?
Yes, I was thinking about it,
Ha
that
ha.
that is the ultimate thing we have to
Ha ha. Yes, yes.
unbecome. That is the process of unbecoming
All right. And being, isn't it?
and
We have to
being.
become one.
So
Yeah.
the Prakriti or nature will wait for us until and unless we are divinized. That means
Yes.
एक बूंद जो है जब तक सागर में नहीं मिल जाती है.
Ha ha. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got muted. Please unmute ji. Sorry, बूंद में you said बूंद
हाँ
सागर में.
हाँ, जब तक वो बूंद सागर में नहीं मिल जाती है तब तक वो बूंद पानी नहीं, वो तेल रहता बना रहता है, वो तैरता रहता है. सो वी
हाँ.
हैव टू गेट कन्वर्टेड फ्रॉम द oily texture to the watery, that is the form which we have to merge in. तब तक
Yes.
प्रकृति, until then the prakriti just gives, puts us into so many tests.
Yes, yes, yes. That is rightly said. So that consciousness of oneness will have to be realized. As long as you are individual, what happens? I am just a drop. I am this drop. I am a drop from this organization. I am a drop from this region. I am a drop having this particular identity of religion. I am this drop having a different identity of language, ideology. All of these are all separate. When that boundaries are removed, when the boundaries are absolutely, when do they vanish? When the drop merges. When the drop merges into the sea, then what is the drop after that? Ocean, isn't it? Samudra. Imagine the drop becoming an ocean. Isn't that a vardhana? Isn't that a growth? Isn't that the highest possible growth? Is the maximum possible manifestation. So just like drop has the potential of becoming the ocean, or that is the maximum evolution of the drop. What is the maximum evolution for all of us as humans? Anybody? Like the drop? What about us? Anyone?
जहां से आए हैं वहां चले जाना.
तो गायब हो जाना? What is in evolution? What do we do? Are we meant to disappear? Or are we meant to? What is the next we can say? What will be the potential for
Being one
human
with
being?
Krishna.
Yeah, Manisha ji says yes, oneness with Krishna. What does that oneness with Krishna indicate? Becoming divine, isn't it?
Divine consciousness.
Becoming divine. So divine, divinization, divinizing our life. There are what we can say, n number of perks of divinizing the life. Just look at the ocean and the drop, compare. There's an entire life ecosystem inside of the ocean, isn't it? Which is not inside of the drop. And so many different possibilities, so many different actualities are manifested. Something like that inside of us also. There are sometimes dormant qualities. Sometimes there are non-existent talents also which suddenly start manifesting when we become one. So that is probably what we must see. Let's get back into the Gita where Krishna says, yes, Arjuna, you will have to take part in the battle ultimately because of nature, is what I feel. Krishna is saying, he's not saying that, "Arey, now you have to, so now you have no option." He says, I understand your nature. I've seen you from the beginning. Arey, your nature will make you. If you don't fight, if intellectually also you say, no, 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 I'll not do it. I have studied you so well for so many years that I know that your nature will make you. I think parents know their kids, isn't it? Suddenly children read something or they watch some movie and they say, हाँ अब तो मैं बहुत शांत हो गया हूँ अब मैं तो योगी हूँ इन पर हाँ हाँ पता है अभी क्या होगा देखो एक 15 मिनट में कौन सा योगी का क्या हो जाएगा बिकॉज दे नो दैट इट्स जस्ट वी रेड इट समथिंग it's somewhere imprinted on the superficial psyche of the individual but a swabhava mood swabhava is not changed. So like that Krishna says Arjuna you are parantapa gudakesha you are a kshatriya you are a warrior who has chosen the path of a warrior right from the beginning, displayed every single sign of only a warrior. Now, will you suddenly say, no, I will not fight? How long will you say that? Maybe the situation would have become terser and he would have realized it. That's what Krishna said. There is a Maya. Maya is moving. Maya is only causing ahankar inside of us also. That we should realize. And we have the free will to not get trapped in Maya. We have the free will to enjoy and be part of the Leela of the divine. Free will to become the instrument of the divine and not the instrument of lower forces. Krishna, when he says this, finally he says, Yat chasi tatha kuru. But we have seen everywhere in the Gita, why am I telling this to you? Krishna is asking, Arjuna is asking Krishna about some secret. Krishna says it. He says, Tapasvi bhyo adhiko yogi, jnani bhyo matodhika, karmi adhiko yogi, tasmat yogi bhavarjuna. Become the yogi, Arjuna. And he says, why am I telling you the highest secret of Raja Vidya? Why am I telling you all of this? Because bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Because you are my bhakta. You are my Sakha. That is why God loving is better than God fearing. Because when you're God loving, what do friends do? They go the extra mile, isn't it, for us? They take one extra step also. And it's always enjoyable when we receive something like that. And Krishna says that every time, here also. He said, I finished telling everything. But bonus, I'll add one more thing to you. And so he starts. He says, one more secret I will. That time comes the beautiful shloka, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mame vaishasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. My dear ones have experienced it. My dear ones have experienced my love. They know this is not just a hollow word. This is a promise as clear and as what we can say truthful as the yada yada hi dharmasya promise. People have experienced sudden tide turning because of the intervention of the divine in their lives. And then they hold on to the divine. That is something which many sadhaks, their turning happens with a transformation. So here Krishna says beautifully, he says, I will fulfill this promise. I will fulfill this promise. What do you have to do? Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So for the bhakta, this is the additional aspect which is being given. Namaskar, do the namaskar to the divine with full bhakti, with full shraddha. Become one. Merge. Let your ambition become one with the divine. That will not take you away from your beloved. Many people feel if I go to the divine, I will forget man. I'll forget human relations. Sansara is looking to look little boring. Not at all. Sansara's experiences will become more fulfilled when you add that divine touch to it. And beautiful aspect is the divine's presence will start appearing in you. That is also something special. But Krishna says, Woe to me. You will come to me. This is a promise I shall fulfill. I think Manisha ji pointed out yesterday how this is the similar shloka as last in an Adhyay previously. There, the difference is that we have to make the call. Here, we see what happens when you make the call in the conclusion. Krishna says, I will take you across. My question is, can we then should we worry about moksha? Will we get moksha? Will we not get moksha in this birth? Arey, I will not get moksha now. I will get another birth only, or after 10 births only. According to my calculation, I used a scientific calculator to calculate. Do we have to worry about moksha? Is my question. Anyone?
No.
No, isn't it?
No.
Yes. What is moksha for us? It is as it is experiencing ananda. Sri Aurobindo's Upanishad very beautifully says, Esha moksha. It begins with Ananda only, that Upanishad, and it ends also. He says, Anandam hi pravakshami bhagavatadishkaha tamasam apavritya prakashastu anandasya putraha, O children of bliss, harbingers of his celestial light, removing darkness, spreading only bliss, set this world alight. Your job is to experience Ananda. Your job is to spread Ananda, nothing else. And that is the moksha. That is the freedom. That is freedom, isn't it? A very interesting quote is there by Albert Camus. He's actually a nihilist philosopher, but his quote is very beautiful. It's about freedom. He says very nicely. The only way to deal with an absolutely unjust and unfair system, unfree system, is that to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Because you are so free that the freedom that system has not been able to crush you, isn't it? In spite of the system, your system is designed to trap you, and you are absolutely free. So what has happened? The system has failed in your case, isn't it? Maybe not collectively. And so when so many individual cases happen, then that becomes the norm. It is exactly like that with Prakriti also. Rules of Prakriti also. Experience freedom become Jivan Mukta. Well, let us see now. As we have decided, if moksha is not our headache, it has to be somebody's headache, no? Let us see whose headache it is. Our moksha. We will see in the next shloka. It is an interesting one. Sarva dharman parityaje mamekam sharanam raja. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayami ma shuchah. Renounce all your dharmas that you rigidly own. Surrender to me. Seek my refuge alone. From all your sins and evil, I shall relieve. I shall bring deliverance. Do not grieve. The same one who has told to uphold dharma, who said Swadharmat nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha. He says Sarva dharman parityaje mamekam sharanam raja. Forget all your dharmas and surrender to me. He says even beautifully, surrender to me, seek my refuge. From all your sins and evil I shall relieve. I shall bring deliverance. Do not grieve. Moksha ishyami ma shucha. Don't worry. Arjuna, moksha is my lookout. It's not your headache, it is mine. I have so many heads, I can bear enough headache than you can imagine also. Don't worry about all of it. I will deliver you. That's the promise. Before we go to the promise, let us understand the first part, isn't it? He says, first part you complete, the promise is finished. So what is the full, what we can say full, if you are calling it a prophecy, if you call it a statement, you call it a principle. What's the first part? Sarva dharman parityaje. Mamekam sharanam raja. What does this mean when you are having to surrender your dharmas? Anybody? So far we've only been told that this is the desire to uphold dharma is not wrong, is what Krishna only told. And here in the extra bonus part of the Gita, he says, renounce all of it. Anybody? What could be the logic here? Or has he just undone everything? 18 chapters, what Krishna has taught in one shloka, one wrong statement. We say no many times, slip of the tongue. Did this happen to Krishna? What does he mean by this? Sarva dharman parityaje.
Be
Anybody?
detached. Be detached.
Be detached, but from dharma also.
Complete surrender.
Okay, yes. Renuji said complete surrender or it was Manisha ji?
Manisha ji said complete
Okay,
surrender.
yeah. So, but my question is, why we cannot have complete surrender when we still hold on to dharma? Why do we have to let go of all the dharmas?
I think he's asking to let go of the ownership of the dharmas, right? I mean, we talked about not being the doer. So probably what he's saying, first you surrender completely to me, and then you start probably doing your dharma, because once you understand that this is not your headache, your part is to put in the effort and try do the best you can. The rest I will take care, and then in the same way, moksha also will be, I will be taking it to you only. So probably what he's saying is, first start with complete surrender, surrender the ownership of everything, and then start doing your dharmas, and I will take care of everything else.
Yeah. Okay, Chaitanya, just one question though. But you see, we have to hold on to dharma until our last moment is what we were told, isn't it? But now we are being told ki, Arey, surrender to the divine and forget those dharmas also because they are now less inferior, they are small, lesser compared to this higher thing of surrendering to the divine. Do you think it could mean surrendering the rigidity to the dharmas that we attach to because of our mental perceptions? Could that be one of the things?
Yes, and he's just asking for love and faith.
All right. So means the highest dharma is our Krishna dharma. So we recognize the Krishna dharma everywhere else. Sushrut's dharma is small, very minuscule. Why is it minuscule? Because I work through my mind. I work through my logic. I feel this is my dharma. It is I feel, isn't it? Many times what I feel is not correct. What I feel is sometimes limited. Driven by what? My emotions, because of my attachments, because of my moha, because of previous sanskar. All of this come into me. And what happens then? Who can write on an empty plate? Only divine can write on an empty plate when it is nothing else is there, isn't it? If already everything is there, divine cannot manifest. Sometimes divine will is there in rigid attachment to something. No, no means no. All right, we are saying no and rejecting lower forces, but should we reject the higher force just because of our preference or attachment? No, this is an important aspect. In sadhana also, sometimes we have attachments. These are higher attachments. Sometimes what we call there's something called sukshma ahankar. This is more dangerous than regular ahankar. Regular ahankar can be easily removed, but sukshma ahankar only the guru or the aradhya can remove it directly, and for that the person should be receptive. That is why for removing sukshma ahankar, ki I understand. Some people said I speak and shastra speaks through me. That is the ahankar. Because of my knowledge, I have understood it. God has only taught this to me. No, you have understood what God wanted you to understand for that moment. What is more to what is to be understood, what is to be realized is so much more. You cannot hold on to it with such a rigid attachment. Because if you do, you will not be able to understand Krishna's will. Krishna's will is complex. Anybody who claims to understand Krishna's will completely is probably in a state of delusion or is truly a fully realized person. But this Krishna Dharma must be realized. Sometimes Krishna Dharma will call upon you to raise your voice. Can you attach yourself? You know, I am following Vaktapa, so I will not speak loudly. I will not raise my voice against injustice. Many people do sadhana, isn't it? They do japa. Today I am going to do japa no matter what happens. Something comes in between. No, 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 my japa mala is not complete, so I will not respond right now. Has anybody heard of that? When it is the higher truth, when will we realize the higher truth? When we connect with a higher consciousness, isn't it? If we get trapped in our own selves, sometimes it is required, sometimes it is required. It is sometimes the divine only who is ensuring that this happens. Yes, we have to have, this is a very thin line actually, it's a very thin line. In the name of surrendering dharma, people sometimes forget the second part. Mamekam Sharanam Raja. Let the full surrender be to the divine. So the divine will ensure all dharmas are met, all dharmas are, followed also. When you connect with Krishna Dharma, you are not against any dharma. Just give me one moment, please. Just a moment. Yeah. So this is this important shloka actually. Sarva dharman parityaje. Sometimes in spirituality, we must give our expectations also aside. In the spiritual path, I have done sadhana for 10 years. Somebody says I have done sadhana for 10 years. Some says for 20 years. Sometimes they call it in terms of tapa. I have completed one tapa of 12 years. Some say I completed two tapas. Some say I have completed three tapas. Is there some logic that one tapa greater than or two tapa greater than one tapa, three tapas greater than two tapa? Can we do that? Dharma vruddheshu ayah na samikshate. Age is not a factor for dharma's path. Not at all. Our Kalidasa had also mentioned it in Kumara Sambhavam. So this aspect we have to sometimes let go of our attachments. Why? We want the higher consciousness. And regarding moksha, let that not be our lookout, because that is also a svartha. No? I am doing this so I get moksha. I remember one person telling me, this birth is my last birth. I've had enough. I'm like, wow, this is as easy as going better, do idli de dena. It's like moksha is going to come to us that way. No, moksha will come by come cumulative factors of what we have done, how we have lived. It's not something like we can just by a whim and fancy of our mind. But better is not to live all life worrying about what whether I will get moksha or not. People, no, no, this will take me away from moksha, so I'm not going to do that. Unnecessary quiet, unnecessary doubts, unnecessary confusions we bring into our life. This is one shloka which is enough for us, if we understand the meaning of surrender, this shloka has taught you the entire Gita. Sarvam dharman parityaje mamekam sharanam raja. Surrender to whom? Surrender to Krishna. Surrender to your Aradhya. You do not know your Aradhya, surrender to the Guru. Guru, Krishna, Aradhya, whatever Dev you say. But let that surrender be complete. Why? Then the divine will directly talk to you. Like Arjuna received from Krishna, we will receive directly. And when you surrender, do we have choices? प्यार में शर्तें नहीं होती पर प्यार तुमने शर्तों पे किया is the complaint. It is there is no choice in surrender also. In surrender also there is nothing. It is pure love you offer with adoration, complete surrender. Sashtang namaskaraha dandavat. That surrender will allow you, it will allow the divine to also raise your consciousness. Whatever the divine wills will manifest. Your choices also you will be able to keep aside. Otherwise, you will be stuck with your choices. That is what is important. And Krishna says again what he said in the second Adhyay. Ma shuchaha, don't worry, don't grieve. One more important aspect of sadhana is if you see worry, anxiety, all of this, understand, like Renuji said, moha is the example of attachment. Anxiety, anger, frustration, panic, fear, all of these are indicators of walking slightly away from Krishna's consciousness. The shade is there for no reason. You have stepped out of the shade and you're bearing the harsh sunlight. For some reason. What do you do in such moments? Anybody? And you feel any of these are sure shot indicators that you're out of that shade. What do we do in such moments? Anyone? Yes, please.
I gather myself.
Gather, move under the shade, isn't it? Go back into shade of Krishna. That's all. Arey, I'm feeling frustrated. Oh, I'm worried. I'm worried what's going to happen. Oh no, how will I fare financially? How will I fare emotionally? Arey, my dearest one is not listening to me. Is something bad going to happen? It's all right. Krishna's will happen. Krishna, dekh lena, please move out of, come out of that personal trouble, personal dvandva, because this is an indication of separation, separation of consciousness. You are feeling dvaita. That is why all these bhavas are there. So this shloka is in one shloka. That is why it was important to actually spend some time. Otherwise, we could have completed this yesterday. But this aspect of sarma dharman parityaja, we have to understand it. We have to experience it. Rest of the things we don't need to bother at all.
Sometimes
Then,
I
yeah.
question myself even. When
Huh? Yeah.
some when such situations arise, then I question myself, is it my surrender? Am I surrendering?
हाँ कम पड़ रहा है we should tell
हाँ,
ourselves कि "Hey, कम पड़ रहा है this is not
I
I'm not
become very
full
restless.
surrender is not
I become very restless. If
yes
this is the feeling arising within myself, where is the surrender?
हाँ true in surrender there is shanti isn't त्यागा शांति
Why should I
Parshuna it
live
is the
with
highest
anxiety even? Huh?
without
Sometimes
that
somebody is coming and what to cook, what to prepare, how to arrange. Even this anxiety when creeps in,
yes
that also
absolutely and Ji one more question logically will that anxiety help you or restlessness ensure you shall face the situation
it drains my energy. It drains my creativity.
then
Yes, it drains me
there
totally.
it scars your karma also, isn't it? Your
Yes.
karma is also not perfectly established. So this is one important thing. I think yes, ji, Renuji, thank you. So with this, we go to the next. Krishna has completed the Gita, including the bonus shloka. It's now over. And now what do we do with this knowledge? अरे मुझे तो गीता पता है अब. I'll go tell everybody, देखो, I know this Gita or come, you have to read the Gita because I've understood it. That's what a lot of people do. Because अरे, it will give me punya points, it will give me brownie points. It will add me my chances of getting that finally 3 BHK in Swargalok because I've spread Gita. We have to spread it like so many religions are spreading. Only our religion is not spreading. So we must try going after people and making them, hey, chant this 100 times today, then you will get moksha. No. Krishna says something very clear. Here he says, Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushrushave vacham na chamam yobhya suyati. Speak not this truth to he who performs not penance, or to he who lacks faith and dwells in ignorance. Also not to he who performs not any service, and to he who causes the indwelling God disservice. Krishna is saying, don't go running after everybody trying to force the Gita into their heads. Why? It will not enter only. Don't speak this truth to someone who has not done any penance, someone who has never done tapasya. What are you going to talk about? Sattvic tapa, rajasic tapa, or tamasic tapa? And what will this person understand? No, it is of no use. Or to somebody who has no shraddha at all. Sometimes people have shraddha in you and they'll come and ask you. That time you can say. But sometimes they don't have shraddha in you only, and you are trying to go and teach that person what is the higher shraddha. See, my life changed because of divine. What will they do instead? They'll say, see, oh, look at your life. This has become like this because of the divine only. See, you suffered. Why? Why go ahead? Because we cannot transform somebody's right from the beginning. Krishna said, "Na buddhi vedam," just like that, unless the person gives a sanction, unless the person is available. So this secret also. Why is it so secret? So many years, 5,000 plus years, if this is a way of life, the way of life to be free, why is it that we are not free today as a collective, in collective consciousness? Because to understand this, we need to raise our consciousness. So here he says, not to somebody who does not have faith, somebody who is dwelling in ignorance, not to he who performs not any service, somebody who has never done any service to anybody. That person will not understand the meaning of selflessness. What will you talk about Tyaga to someone who has not even, moved 1 inch for somebody? No, we cannot speak about Tyaga. And also to he who causes the indwelling God disservice. I know someone very close to me. I thought I will allow that. I'm going to see that feeling comes. No, I will make that person change. I will allow that person. Who am I to allow somebody? Even while narrating, I use that word. I wanted that person to change for his well, his betterment. His life should be more fulfilled. That's all I felt. And that was out of what we can say a good intention. 4 times that person studied the Gita. After that also. That was out of my insistence. But that person never really understood it or never wanted to go into it. Can we say Gita is ineffective because of it? No. But can we say I spent a lot of efforts more than required? Anybody? Yes? What would you advise? Someone very close to me, I wanted that person to be transformed for betterment of everybody, not just for my personal self, for that individual, because I saw without the Ananda, that person's life is not really so fulfilled. Yes, Rameshji.
That person was not involved in whatever was being said.
Yes,
Total cut
yes.
off.
So about my efforts, they could have been spent elsewhere, isn't it? It could have been spent elsewhere. So it is something like that. Try if you do not believe these words of Krishna, go. Go and try teaching the Gita to someone who does not want to hear. It will fall sometimes on deaf ears also. Highest principles also will not change. So then what do we do then? Our lookout is, yes, Chaitanya ji,
Yeah, I mean, see, you took an effort to make him understand for his betterment, right? So at that moment, maybe he was not ready or he was not in a
maybe
condition
later
to,
on.
yeah. But maybe later on, sometime, as you said, because of some situation or something, he may remember what you had said at that time and realize, okay, yeah, it was
But if
actually
the
something.
Shraddha is not there, Krishna is saying don't speak the words if Shraddha is not there.
Yeah, currently, I mean, see, I don't know. I mean, if I'm right or wrong here, but I'm just saying that taking an effort, I mean, giving it a shot is not. It should not be a. I mean, that we should do at least once because we are
At least
trying to
once.
bring the
Acha.
betterment,
But
and if after that, yeah.
out of emotional care and attachment, Chaitanya ji,
No,
do we have
no,
to do
but
it?
yeah, but when you are actually starting to do it, you should be cognizant of the fact that this may not work. So if you understand that,
We
yeah,
should be cognizant. We should do it with a nirpeksha bhava, not with
correct,
emotion,
because that
isn't
is the
it?
first thing that even Krishna is asking for any karma that you are doing, right? That
Yes,
result is not
yes,
in your hand.
absolutely. So, one very elderly shishya of Swami Hariharji Maharaj, who dedicated his life in taking Gita to the world. He was in Subhash Chandra Bose's army as well. And after that, when India became free, he got a chance, like so many of the revolutionaries, to enter into politics. But he said, no, I'm starting a new revolution. He called it the Gita revolution. He wanted to do it. And for next so many years, he was a sannyasi at the age of 35 only, taking only milk and fruits. He went teaching the Gita across the world to so many people. And that time he had just one question. He told his shishyas, let your home become an ashram. Let your home become the ashram. Become the example, become the principle. And he would say, I have just asked one question to whomever you meet. Have you read the Gita? And leave it at that only. If the person has read the Gita, you will hear a beautiful answer and you might have a beautiful conversation. If you, that person has not read the Gita, the thought of the Gita will go into the head and a question mark will remain. You will get 1 rupee, imagine like that, because you have asked this question. So try to, get as many questions as you want. I mean, as many rupees you want to collect, you collect. Well, something like that we see here. Krishna says, no, not for somebody who does not have Shraddha, not for someone who has not done tapa, not for a heart that is selfish and greedy. Because the heart does not want to hear. But whom can we share then? Should we just keep it quiet? Because sharing, we say sharing is caring. Or when we share again, when we were friends with so many people in school, we used to teach principles to our friends. And in that way, we would also learn, isn't it? What we can say, one abhyasa would take place. So here, the next part is beautiful. Krishna says, Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhaktesh mad bhakteshva vidhasyati bhaktim mai param krutva mame vaishyatya sanshayah. He who shall pass with the most supreme devotion, he who shall with the most supreme devotion pass over to my devotees this secret declaration. He too shall verily unite and come to me. About this, no doubt can there ever be. But where there is Shraddha, there don't lose the chance. It is beautiful. To somebody who wants to know, don't ever deny over some pretext or the other. Like earlier shloka says, don't go telling anybody, somebody who does not want to hear. But when somebody wants to hear, who are you to deny the aspiration of the spirit? Who are you to deny the call of the divine, isn't it? The divine inside of that person has awakened and that wants to know. So then Krishna says, such a person who is passing on to a devotee who wants to know, he is dear to me. Let us see. न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन् मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्माद् अन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि. Krishna told, isn't it, dearest of devotees in Adhyay 12, who is dear? Mad Bhakta Same Priyaha, this person is priya, this person is dear. Last, he says, somebody who lives the principle is dearest to me. And now comes one more question. He says, and one more answer. He says, and no other man can be nearer, for none shall I hold dearer than he who does this task for me. Dearer than him, none can ever be. Krishna says, this is the dearest person to me who is doing this task of taking my words. It's like watering the plants that need water. Parched plants in the summer. You can see, isn't it? You can sometimes see them calling out with the drooping leaves. You'll see and carry, and if you pour a little bit water also, you see how fresh they become and then they grow, isn't it? It is something like that when Krishna is saying it is my work. Meaning, if at all our friends, if at all our near ones, if at all our dear ones want to learn the Gita, you see that, don't deny it. Don't deny it. And if you are doing it, well, you are going to become closest to Krishna. He says, because you're doing my work, you're spreading my consciousness. He goes on further. But is it only for those who are spreading the Gita? Only they get that bonus or anybody else also? Let us see. Adhyeshyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadamavayoho jnanayajnena tenaham ishtaha syamiti me matihi. And also, he who studies this discourse, holding our discussions sacred in their life's course, by him too the sacrifice of knowledge will be performed. Becoming my worshipper, he shall be transformed. So even studying this discourse of Krishna and Arjuna, this samvad, you're holding it close to your heart. This dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. If you hold it close, even that ensures you are a participant. You are not just a participant, you are like a priest of the sacrifice. You are taking part in the Jnana Yajna. And what happens to that? What is the fire of knowledge? Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram na vidyate is what Krishna told. We heard him say in the previous adhyayas. And karma bandhanas bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. This is the fire. Jnana agni dagdha karmanam. The fire of knowledge will burn all karma bandhanas. Like that, this person will cease to remain what he is. He or she will become transformed just by studying this discourse, and holding it dear in their lifetime. Somebody says, yeah, but I don't understand it only. Gita is so complicated. I have read it, but I am not understanding. So here, will I also be performing Jnana Yajna? What about me? I tried to read sincerely, but I did not understand. Well, it's like party for everybody. Krishna goes on to the next shloka. Let us see. Shraddhavananasuyascha shrunuyadapi yo naraha sopi muktaha shubhan lokan prapnuyat punyakarmanam. Even the man who merely listens intently, full of faith and devoid of any envy, for himself the liberation he shall obtain, and the righteous dreams of happiness he will attain. Means even sincerely, without jealousy, just listening also Krishna is saying, he will obtain liberation, moksha, freedom from these karma bandhanas. My question is Krishna trying to suddenly get a big reading list and following followers by adding these shlokas? He wants more followers, so hey, you'll get moksha, read it. Or there is some truth in what he has said. Just reading sincerely. Can reading sincerely without understanding also make a difference? Anybody?
Yes.
Any? Yes, how is it? Anyone?
The intention is there.
Okay, the intention matters. All right. I remember when I tried to read Sri Aurobindo's words first time. ऊपर से गया, I didn't understand what was written. So I just went to Damliji and he said, no, no, don't worry, just read. Just read. Even if you don't understand, don't worry. Cells will be created. That is how his writing is. You will be able to understand. Your brain cells will function eventually. Don't worry about that right now, just sincerely. And truly, earlier I could not understand, like Kashmir, Kanyakumari, everything was looking opposite. And then afterwards, it's actually looking beautiful and it's looking so nice. Maybe difficult, maybe complicated, maybe very what we can say exalted writing. Highest realization is required. Means I hope to understand Savitri in my 90s if I go that long or something. Maybe if I can try. His writing is so deep, but sincerely reading will allow you something like that. Bhagavad Gita reading, Krishna says, just reading Bhagavad Gita with sincerity will also grant you. One best example I can say is my mother's in her home. Uh, Earlier, she was in the quarters, so there was a maid who would come regularly, and her husband would beat her so many times. Now, this was something which is not good, but nothing can be done into a domestic violence issue in workplace. Maximum you can tell, but there's no guarantee your scolding the husband will ensure he behaves that way or not. But from nowhere, she heard mother taking Gita classes for kids, and she said, I want to learn what you're learning. Teach me. Now, the maid does not know Sanskrit, mother does not know Tamil, and mother is working in the hospital. So the entire day she cannot sit and teach also. How can we do? She said, okay, I'll teach you to chant. Here, you see, in our Krishna's Better project and all, we don't focus on chanting at all. We focus more on the principles because chanting you can learn. You will learn. And there are so many wonderful organizations teaching that. But the essence is important. But here, you see, she wanted to learn and there was no other option. She gave a book, Tamil book, but she says, no, you tell me, then I will hear from you. That was her bhava. So both would sit down on the floor on the mat and mother would start reading shlokas. You will not believe this woman, she memorized 3 adhyayas of the Gita just like that without knowing the language also. How is it possible? I also have not memorized 3 adhyayas in so many years. She has fully memorized it. And beautiful aspect was her transformation happened in her home automatically. Chaitanya enters into a person's consciousness. Her husband stopped beating her. He did not dare. And she suddenly found a confidence. Where, how, what, we do not know. She did not get a chance to complete her education, and yet she was able to connect. And she would very excitedly say, "Ah, it's my time now." So she would do her work while doing her housework. She would chant the shlokas, and that is how she memorized it. So this is the power of sincerity. This is the power of aspiration. That is something which Krishna is saying. So aspiration is there, no? That is sufficient. Sincere aspiration. Study the Gita. Read it 10 times. Read it 20 times. I am planning to read it at least 100 times minimum, or at least 100 workshops will help me understand something at least. But that aspiration is enough, is what Krishna is saying. We need not worry about anything. Ma Shucha, Moksha Ishyami is a promise which he has to keep, isn't it? When you give a promise to your friend and your friend trusts you, who is worried? You or your friend? The giver of promise is worried, or the person who has received the promise?
Giver.
Giver, isn't it? So who has given us the promise?
Krishna.
Sri Krishna.
So who should be worried?
He only.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. So he has said it. So with this, I think that is something which Krishna has said. Even listening intently will guarantee. Now comes the next part. Kachidetat sritam partha tvayekagrena chetasa kachit ajnana sammoha pranashtaste dhananjaya. Oh Arjuna, look at this dialogue. It is so, what we can say, casual. It's like just recently when an Olympian won a medal without wearing, in shooting, without wearing any eye gears, without wearing any other protective equipment, very casually putting one hand in the pocket, and he shot his way to an Olympic gold, something like that. Casually, after speaking about Rajavidya, after speaking about the secrets of life, after speaking about, the Chandramarga, what is death, what is mortality, what is universal consciousness, all of it, he asks like this. He says, "Oh, Arjuna, all that I said, did you intently hear with a concentrated mind by lending your ear? Has the delusion's veil been lifted? Oh, Arjuna, has your ignorance been obliterated? Arey, you had told, no? Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. You're now shivering, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling depressed. So, what has happened to that? Did you listen to what I was saying, or were you daydreaming? Did you hear? He's just asking like that. What has happened to your ignorance? You had forgotten, isn't it? You said, I don't know what my dharma is. Yat shreyaha syana nishchitam bru. That sight of Arjuna was a very sorry sight, isn't it? The great one, Mahabahu, the Parantapa, the one with broad shoulders, had suddenly fallen down in the middle of the battlefield. A very sad sight to watch a hero fall. He had fallen, full of emotions, in tears, troubled so much that he's saying, he was feeling delusional. He says, I'm having headache. These are my people. I don't want to fight. It's okay. Let me die. There's no point. There's no meaning. Nothing is going to give me any moment of peace. I don't see, forget victory. Even if I become God, I will not be free now. This sorrow is so powerful. That Arjuna, Krishna is now asking, Are, I told you something in the Gita, didn't I? What happened? Is your sorrow still there? Did you listen? Arjuna replies. Again, you see, till now, Krishna, this is the last shloka of Krishna. Has Krishna given an explicit order? I command you by the authority. I am the Supreme Purusha. No, he did not command. He just asked, "Here, what happened?" And Krishna is getting an answer. Arjuna uvacha nashto mohaha smrutirlabhva tvat mayachyuta स्थितोस्मि गतसन्देह करिष्ये वचनम तव. Krishna is being told by a confident Arjuna. The voice is now again the same Arjuna who was called Parantapa, harasser of enemies. Armies would flee when one single Arjuna would come on his chariot. That Arjuna is speaking. What is he saying? Arjuna replied, My delusion is destroyed. My memory has returned. O Krishna, by your grace alone, things have thus turned. I am now firm in my resolve, with all doubts cleared. I shall now act as per thy golden words that I have heard. He says, my Spruti is back, like Anjaneya is knowing, I can now take the leap. I understand. Arjuna is also saying the same thing. My delusion is destroyed, my memory is returned. I remember who I am, why I am here. Upanishads talk about this only. Kruto smara kritam smara. Smara is so important to remember. Who are you? Amritasya putra vayam, anandasya putraha. All these aspects we should remember. What small sorrow can disturb our state of consciousness? What insecurity can make our heart palpitate? Who is it? Which force is there? Who dares to disturb the one who is one with the divine? There is no force. And Arjuna has now understood it. And he says, Krishna, it is your grace. He feels grateful that things have turned. Materially, has anything turned on the battlefield? No, isn't it? It is inside. Same battlefield, same extra lakh soldiers on the other side. It is going to be a dangerous battle. The best of the best warriors are going to face him. And yet he is confident again. He says, yes, I am now firm in my resolve. My every doubt is cleared. This is a beautiful clarity of thought. You know, when there is no doubt in your heart, your actions are divine actions only. Divine functions through you. You are confident. Your every movement is guided by the divine. It's like the divine is moving and you are just following like a robot, the guidance of the divine. I shall now act as per thy golden words, I have heard. Yat hechasi tatha kuru is what the master told, isn't it? Do what you want. You are free to follow. Arjuna says, I have chosen. I have chosen to follow you. That is the greatest realization a Shishya can have. That's the greatest realization a Bhakta can have for the Aradhya. I will follow your path. And this is what Arjuna has said. And this is where the Gita completes. Now we see Sanjay speaking. Sanjay Uvacha. Dhritarashtra is back to his sorrow now. Arjuna is to now wreak havoc. Let us see. Sanjay Uvacha. Ityaham. Now see what happens nowadays, news media also we see, no? There is nothing called neutral reporting, isn't it? Already the media person is speaking on one side. Sanjay was supposed to, but how can one be neutral? Towards truth, everybody will bend towards it. Sanjay is also, needle is pointing towards Arjuna only right now. The bias is very visible. Look at it. He is celebrating this conversation. He is not worried like Dhritarashtra. He says, Sanjay Uvacha, Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmanaha Samvadamimam Ashrausham Adbhutam Romaharshanam. Thus I heard the words of Krishna, Sanjay says, the divine Lord, and also that of his pious Arjuna, his precious word. So wondrous it was for me to understand that it caused my hair at their ends to stand. He says, I'm having goosebumps. Look, I saw the dialogue, I heard the dialogue of Krishna, who is the great one, the Bhagwan Krishna. Why do they call him Bhagwan? I'm understanding just by this dialogue only. Forget other aspects of his life. I have not studied the Bhagavatam. I have not understood all of it. But this dialogue only is telling me why he is Bhagwan. Look at that. Forget Bhagwan only. There is Arjuna also. See how precious this Arjuna is. His dear beloved, like his son. He is there. Many say if you want Krishna, cultivate Arjuna consciousness. You will receive wisdom from Krishna directly. He wants to give it. So here he says, and it was so beautiful, this dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, that it has caused goosebumps. It's caused my hair to stand. He goes on further. He says, Arey, I'm even feeling great. When gratitude comes, your heart flows, isn't it? It's flowing to Vyasa also. He says, Arey, thank you, Vyasa. Vyasa prasadat, Vyasa prasadat, Shrutavan, Etat guhya maham param. Yogam Yogeshwarat Krishnat Sakshat Kathayatah Swayam. Through the grace of Vyasa, the mystic sage, the king of secrets, the Rajavidya, I was able to envisage from the Lord of Yoga, Sri Krishna himself, who verily declared the secret of Yoga itself. Who is Yogeshwaraha? It is Krishna. Krishna, who is the Yogeshwara, taught yoga. What a great aspect it was to directly hear the words of Krishna's mouth. That is why Bhagavad Gita is called Shabda Pramana. Who is the speaker? Speaker is Krishna himself. Imagine like an organization is founded on certain principles. Who can teach the principles of the organization better than the founder? How lucky is that intern if he is able to work directly under the founder, isn't it? We all aspire, "Arey, I just want to have a meeting. Forget working for a long period under the founder. Give me a meeting so I can just have some dialogue." Something like that. He says, "Arey, thank you, Vyasa. I heard because of you, I will always remain indebted to you." He goes on further. Rajan Sansmritya Samvadam Mimam Adbhutam Keshavarjunayoho Punyam Rishyami Cha Mahurmahu. O king, this sacred discourse I am reminiscing. Arjuna is, Sanjay is suddenly he's having already a summary flowing inside of his head, all different points covered by Krishna. He says, "O king, this sacred discourse I am reminiscing. Again and again, I am ecstatically remembering. Oh, Krishna and Arjuna, I celebrate their conversation repeatedly. I am rejoicing in jubilation." Says again and again, I'm just celebrating it because it's spreading that ananda, ripples of ananda. Tatcha sansmritya rupam atyadbhutam harehe vismayo me mahan rajan rishyami cha punah punah. I also distinctly remember that marvelous sight of Lord Krishna bathed in the divine light as he displayed his form resplendent. I again rejoice for witnessing that vision transcendent. It says, "Arey, who can forget that Vishwarupa?" I still remember it. Look, from Krishna's mortal body, from his mortal envelope, we saw the full Vishwarupa as it stretched out. How can I forget that? I'm just remembering that also. I rejoice just for that being in my memory now. I can recollect it. What a blessing it is. And then comes the declaration. This is the declaration that we must remember. Yatra yogeshwaraha krishno yatra partho dhanardaraha tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruvanitir matir mama. Wherever there is the Lord of Yoga, Krishna, wherever there is a master archer, Arjuna, there exists the seal of divine victory and prosperity and glory for righteousness. Thus I proclaim with certainty. He says, where Krishna is there, where there's an Arjuna following that Krishna. Well, he says, I declare. Who is he declaring it to? To the Dhritarashtra and to all of us also. Here, this side is going to win because Krishna and Arjuna are together. This is a declaration of the truth, where the divine is there and his instrument is manifesting the divine will. Which force can stand against it? No force can stand against it. There is nothing but certainty of the victory. The mother had said, nothing is certain but the certitude of victory. That is on the spiritual path. When you walk on the path of righteousness, on the path of truth, truth only expands, it becomes wider and more manifest. So with this, our journey, this is actually my longest batch ever. And 53 sessions we've had. I would say thank you for tolerating for 53 sessions. If anything was said wrongly, it was not intended. You are always, of course, welcome to tell me. I will try to not repeat that. But before we go, I want to say, कि अरे हो गया Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters. There is a 19th Adhyay, Ramleji has told me. When he first told this, it was on Guru Purnima, early morning, we had gone for a walk and he said 19th Adhyay. I was scratching my head. ये तो 18 अध्याय है गीता में. 19th कहाँ से आ गया? Did I forget there is a 19th Adhyay? He said, what is 19th Adhyay? So now generally we try to intellectually answer some questions. So I gave some answer. He said, नहीं हाँ ठीक है, all right. He was not satisfied with that. My sister also answered something that was also not fully close to the truth. Then he asked different people, different answers were got. Afterwards, Damli told what is 19th Adhyay. But before I share Damliji's answer, I would like to hear anybody. What do you think is the 19th Adhyay? Anyone? It's there in some sacred special edition of the Gita. Not in this edition or that edition, only in one edition or something? Or what is this 19th Adhyay? Anyone?
Is it how we put it into practice what we have learned? My
Ramesh
understanding
ji, little louder, sir.
is 19th Adhyay is left to us. How we
Okay.
will put it to practice what we have learned.
Oh, lovely. Ramesh ji says it is 19th Adhyay is left to us. How we put into practice. Okay, that is interesting. Ramesh ji has said that. Anybody else? Do you resonate Ramesh ji's opinion? Then I'll share what Damle ji says. Had said about it.
Yes, I agree with what Ramesh ji has said.
Ji
I
sir.
agree with what he has said.
Ji.
It is a takeaway point that we, that we get
Ha.
after going through this whole journey.
So
What is our
yes.
takeaway?
Ji sir. Ji sir.
And then what we intend to do with that.
Ji, Dr. Atul ji is saying what we intend to do, what we have taken from this study of the Gita. All right, somebody was adding? Yes, please.
Yeah.
19th Adhyay makes 18 Adhyay look easy. It is not
Okay.
so, but it sounds so simple.
Ji. Okay. And where is this Adhyay? Is it in a book? No, isn't it? It is in our life we have to bring into. So yes, Damleji had told the same thing. Arjuna and Krishna had a dialogue, say 5,000 years ago. Some people are saying it's more than 5,000 years ago. Whenever that dialogue did take place, it was good for Arjuna. Krishna told to Arjuna, but what about us? Well, 19th Adhyay is that dialogue between Krishna and you. You become the Arjuna and Krishna in your heart. Krishna has told, isn't it? His location, his address, door number, everything, plot number. He is in the heart. Hrudi Sannivishtam. He is there in the heart of every living being. So there, that dialogue, this is a dialogue which is a very personal and private dialogue. This is not a dialogue which everybody is going to find in the book, and it's going to be individual for each person. The 19th Adhyay begins when your dialogue with Krishna starts. That is the journey of the Gita in your life. Krishna and Arjuna Samvad will start. Well, you will become Arjuna, and Krishna inside is going to guide you. And that is something which is very special. And that is what Krishna also wants, isn't it? Or does he want we have to do a lot of puja for the book and keep it in a very sacred place so we never touch it again? Or we don't, or do we have to read it? Or do we have to just memorize it? Or do we have to tell people that we know it? Or do we have to start living it? Yes, we want more people to understand the Gita. We want more people to become free. We want to do Loka Sangraha. There cannot be any greater purpose than that. But to do that, shouldn't we become representatives of Krishna? That should probably be our lookout. That should be our lookout that we start living the principles. So I will probably take your leave after this. But before that, I would request, can everybody tell me what is your 19th Adhyay, what you have decided? Which part? Because I think Dr. Atulji said everybody takes one takeaway point which they want to personally practice, and sometimes one person's takeaway point helps another. So since today is our last session, would you like to share? What is the 19th Adhyay? What is your 19th Adhyay? Somebody talks about, I like that chapter on gunas, I want to look at the guna, or something like that. What do you relate to most? And each person will have a different one. That is the beauty of the 19th Adhyay. It is individual. Each person's will be different. So anybody, can you please share?
May I, Sushruti, may I?
Yes, sir, Dr. Atulji.
It is shloka 62 of this Adhyay, 18th Adhyay.
Ji, sir.
Shloka 62.
Okay, 62nd shloka.
Seeking refuge in Krishna.
Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsasi shashwatam. Again, this is all first part you do, consequences Krishna's headache. Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata. So, how will you practice that, sir? Dr. Atulji. The Tameva sharanam gaccha in the sense, in every way. Example for practically understanding. So I can also try to practice. Yes, sir.
It is difficult to, explain. how to do it. But
No, means
I
now in
try
a
to
day,
do.
say just today now, after the Gita Varga, maybe now you will be going either to work or you're going to somewhere, you are going out. How will you practice Tvameva Sharanam Gacha at that moment? Say you're just going out, not for work also.
uh, by requesting Krishna, Kanaji, to show me
Ha,
the way, how to
show
do
me the
my
way.
yes,
Okay,
the way,
okay, so
and
show me the
surrender
way.
all my efforts, consecrate
Even if
everything
you
to
know the
Krishna.
route, even if the route is a common route you are taking, you are going to ask Kanaji for showing the way.
Uh, See, we think that we know
Yes?
everything. We don't know everything.
So we do not know in this route what will we experience, something new. It may be a everyday's mundane route which we may think it's nothing. But I think it is something extraordinary can manifest, isn't it? Damliji also says, be an ordinary person leading extraordinary life. So all right, this is a beautiful one. Kanaji, please take me. Sometimes Kanaji will take us how to even avoid traffic on our route if he guides us. So probably he is the Sarthi. I think Dr. Atulji has shared. Thank you. Dr. Atulji, one more thing, since this is, I think you have attended previously also. Is
Yes,
it true that reading the Gita gives you a new perspective every time you study it?
yes,
Some
it is
other
very,
takeaway it is
yes,
giving it, isn't it?
very much true,
That
very
is
much true.
the Mahatman
So
of the Gita.
many things
Absolutely.
that that I'm not able to comprehend properly. By
Ji sir.
repeatedly, attending these classes, I'm able to comprehend them. And I
Ji sir.
thank you
So
very much. Thank you very
thank you,
much.
sir. Thank you. No, no, sir. Thank you. Ji Shri Krishna. Krishna Arpanam. Hari Om. Yes, sir. So Hari Om, sir. Namaskar. Jai Shri Krishna. Yes, so Dr. Atulji shared, Tameva Sharanam Gacha. He's going to ask Kanhaji, show me the way. Take me ahead. Anybody else? Your 19th Adhyay? Of course, it is time, so we'll hear another 5, 6 participants. And of course, if anybody wants to share or ask or anything, you are welcome. But we'll just look at 3, 4 experiences of 19th Adhyay, so it remains with us. Anybody?
May I?
Yes, Chaitanya ji.
I think
Hari.
I think the two things which are going to be which I'm trying to do is first is about gunas, because as you said, the three gunas. The first thing I used to get frustrated about is, after I learned these things, that I don't have control, but I'm supposed to not get carried away. So to come, you are always going to be under some effect of gunas, and to actually to become calm and everything. So that, because in everyday life you are going one after another, you're going to get into a situation where you are naturally
We'll
going
get
to react,
triggered.
probably. Yeah, you're naturally going to react, and you're going into some you're going to go into that particular situation on back of something else. So that state of mind is going to be there. So to remain calm and approach it very in a way that Krishna has explained, without getting carried away in effect of some gunas or everything,
So
to
what is
practice
Chaitanya
that.
ji's
Yeah.
secret? What is the secret then for remaining
And
calm?
I think that it is again the same 19 that there everywhere where Krishna has explained, leave the
Okay.
concerns to me, I think.
Ah,
And
so forces
approach,
like
yeah. And don't
observe
create
the
the divide.
forces.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Observe, try to do that. So, but I know that is
Observe.
going to be very difficult, but I think.
They say, तेरा तुझको अर्पण क्या लागे मेरा. No, can we even say that to the forces?
Yes,
Like
in a
Tai
way.
Chi is about that, no? Tai Chi, that art. It's a art form. It's a martial art form also. When somebody attacks, that force is not going to touch you. You just deflect it back. Something like that. So that would probably help. So, all right. Chaitanya ji has given the secret for remaining in highest Chaitanya all the time is offering to the divine and observing the gunas. Maybe you can even take a popcorn. अच्छा राजस आ रहा है. Very good राजस. ठीक है. आओ आओ वहाँ जाओ. We're not inside here. Doors closed. So that is one nice 19th Adhyay, watching the gunas. Yes, anybody else would like to add? We'll listen to two more and then we can conclude if anybody wants to add something and share after that. Renuji is saying, yes, ma'am. I can't hear you for some reason, madam. Sorry. Uh, audio is not, it's not audible for some reason.
Am I audible now?
Now it's audible. Ji.
I wish to become an instrument into the hands of the Almighty.
Become an instrument
Into the hands of the Almighty. Let Him
in the
use
hands of Krishna. Nimitta matram, Krishna has told in the Gita, isn't it? Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Become my instrument, let the arrows rain. They are not your arrows, they are mine. You are just the instrument. All right, ji. Sounds beautiful. That is another wonderful 19th Adhyay. Instrumentation. A divine is looking for instruments. Kali there's big opening. Lots of openings are there. So we have to just be available for the divine. Yes, Renuji. All right. And one more important thing before I just forget. Yes, there is a group called Krishna's Delight Family, which is a group of previous participants who have studied the Gita and have wanted to remain connected with the Gita. So they have joined this group. It is actually a free group only, where all are Krishna's devotees. So if you wish to join, you can. I will share the link. You can join, but it is a requirement that mostly all who have completed the study can join. So we are all who are live. It's all right. But those who are not studied are requested to once study the Gita. That will avoid disharmonies. And by God's grace, in last 5 years, nobody has argued, touch wood, nobody has argued with anybody in that group. So we are all trying to understand in our own ways about Krishna. And we do meet twice a month, once on the first Sunday. That is where we do some scriptural reading. Now we have taken one beautiful book called Correspondence with Sri Aurobindo by Dr. Nirodpal. And in the last Sunday, we have a bhajan session where various participants sing various bhajans and kirtans. And then there is an arti, which is a digital arti. And every time, new Devale for everybody because someone shares the darshan of their Devale and they do the arti online. So if anybody wishes, you are welcome to join. You can just let me know. All right. Ji. So if, yes, so I think with this, our session is complete. Give me
Shishulji,
short.
can I ask what is your 19th there?
My 19th Adhyay,
Yeah.
I think is same as what you have talked about, the gunas, no? The same thing, because gunas come at all times, isn't it? Sudden rajas, sudden tamas. Like, say work also. Suddenly, sometimes you see after doing something nice or even after Gita reading, what do you feel? कि हाँ अब बैठ जाते हैं, अभी नहीं जाना है, अभी काम नहीं करना है, इसको क्या जाके बताएं? नहीं, but करते हुए कर्म is there, no? You have to do it. So I'm following your 19th Adhyay only, Chaitanya ji. Same one, same one. Absolutely.
I
So,
wanted to ask one question. Do we have a Hindi session for this also?
हिंदी मेरी थोड़ी कच्ची है, तो I will not be able to. We are not yet ready. At least reference book is there in English only so far. So this will have to first come in Hindi. For that, I'll have to learn. Maybe in future, I will want to try to learn it, or somehow this gets translated. Then there will be some with reference will be there
Because
available.
I have spoken about you within my
हाँ.
family members also, and they are very much eager to hear you. But
Okay, unfortunately, I have got this sanskara of the Angrez on me, so I'm not able to yet take vargas in Hindi. Maybe later on, I'm hopefully. And Marathi also. This is my mother tongue. That is also an aspiration, but I think let us see. At the moment, English. The new batch will have a different timing because many participants have also shared to me that it will be 9 to 10. It is a new challenge for me. I have to be awake and not yawn that time. But that will be probably in the next week or maybe afterwards. I'll just drop a message. I'll consult our trust, and after the Amlej is okay, we'll go ahead.
Can we join the new batch
Yeah, yeah,
from day
yeah.
one?
Yes, please. Certainly,
From day one,
certainly.
okay.
Anybody can
so have
join.
you fixed the time for 9 to 10, or is it flexible?
Yeah, it is fixed. No, no, it is fixed. The time has been fixed. Some arrangements have been done for that to make that happen every day. Only the date is not yet confirmed. I will let you know very shortly, maybe in a day also. So I think if nothing is there, I would say again once more, thank you. It was a great honor to study the Gita with all of you. I would say you forget me, that's fine, but don't forget principles of Gita. Let them remain in your heart. Hold on to Krishna. Enjoyment is yours only. We have to enjoy life. We have to live fulfilled lives. And that cannot be fulfilled without, means what is the cake without the icing? No? Like that. So for us, Krishna is that we have to have his presence and experience wherever we are. We can experience it. So with this, I conclude with the Shanti mantra. If somebody just wants, so yeah, all right, Shanti mantra. Then afterwards, anybody wants to say something, we will look at it.
Sure.
Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. One more thing I forgot to say, most important, I would say it is because of Midam that I've been able to take these classes. We're very grateful for that, and because of Damliji's blessing, I started touching this Gita. I don't think I would have been able to even touch this book. So very grateful for that. And of course, grateful to Krishna. We generally take all whom we care a lot for granted. So we sometimes forget. So I missed what is very important to say. Yeah, yes, please. Hari Om. Jai Shri
I
Krishna.
just want to say
Hari Om.
thanks a lot, Shishaji,
Thank you.
for,
Thank you,
Exactly.
madam.
thank you very much. And I would
Thank you,
definitely
madam.
like to join again. And also
Sure,
the
madam.
Gita Parivar.
Ji.
Thank you so
Ji.
much. Hari Om.
Thank you, madam. Hari
It
Om.
Thank
was
you
a
to
Hari Om.
our
pleasure.
Sri
It was a pleasure
Krishna.
meeting you
Thank you, sir.
also.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Namaskar.
Jai Shri Krishna. Hari Om ji.
Jai Shri
Jai
Krishna.
Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri
Jai
Krishna.
Shri Krishna.
Hari
Jai
Om.
Shri
Thank you so much.
Jai Shri
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Krishna.
Thank
sir.
you.
Hari Om.
Thank
Thank
you.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Thank you to our Sri Krishna who has taken 53 sessions for us.
Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna Arpanam. I'm also saying thank you to
Absolutely.
Sri Krishna.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
I'll be
much.
missing Chaitanya ji's, Dr. Swarupa ji's summaries and Manisha ji's notes also, all of them. So let us see. And the Delight group, you are free. And one more thing about Delight group is it's actually a free group which is having its own democracy. Any idea is there, it is welcome, then it is voted by everybody and whatever they wish. Everything is, but in light of Kanaji, we have people of all ages in it. So let us continue. If you're interested, we will remain in touch there as well. All
We would
right.
like to remain in touch. We would like
Ji
to
sir, ji
remain
sir.
in
I'll share that link, sir. I'll share the link to the group. Namaskaram. Thank you so much. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Jai Shri
Hari
Krishna. Namaskar. Hari Om. Ji. Hari Om.
Hari
Hari
Om.
Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Namaskar. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.